What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's Anfield Agenda late night news roundup. I'm going to take you through some of the stories from our late night agenda stream, and there's a couple of interesting extra bits as well that we did keep back for this video, namely around why Chiesa isn't getting played, and of course a little bit around Ibrahim Konate and why his contract negotiations aren't going anywhere. So that and lots more to come over the next few minutes, but you know the score. We do want to know your thoughts, so let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, and of course I would love you to hit that subscribe button. And thank you to everyone who's helped us go past 307,000 subscribers. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget, by the way, about our 2 live shows coming up. The last day of the season, we are going to be at the Hot Water Comedy Club Blackstock Market in Liverpool to celebrate the title. They're putting the game on the big screens there as well, and I'll be on stage at 7:30 that night. As well as that, we will be at the same venue 3 days later for the official Anfield Agenda end of season party with myself, Connor, Chris, Jack and Steve all together for one night only. Both of the events are all ages, and you can get your tickets with the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on the screen. Right, let's get into the officials for the game against Spurs coming up this weekend. So we know that the Liverpool players are gathering together to watch Arsenal Crystal Palace, just in case Palace manage to pull off an upset win. But should that not happen, and I don't think it will, then we need to know who's going to be refereeing and in charge of the game against Spurs. And it is Tom Bramall, who's the referee. Assistants, Simon Bennett and Dan Robathane. Fourth official, Chris Kavanagh. VAR, Craig Paulson. And assistant VAR, Darren Cann. Right, so that's the officials. Now let's move on to a story that I put absolutely no faith in, but it would be remiss of me not to bring it to you guys. And that is a story coming out of Corriere dello Sport over in Italy that said Liverpool and Juventus have interest in Atalanta forward Ademola Lookman, 27 years of age. The Italian side will sell their player if an offer of £50 million comes in. And that offer of £50 million will not be coming from Liverpool Football Club. Again, if Liverpool are looking to bring in a player in that position, I would imagine you're talking about somebody younger in age and, well, not necessarily cheaper, but certainly, for me, younger in age and probably more proven. Lookman had a great campaign last year winning the Europa League, man of the match performance in the final. I just don't think he's Liverpool quality, though. One man whose name has been mentioned as, well, potential Liverpool quality and many others is the Borussia Dortmund striker Guirassy. This piece here from Paddy Berger said Guirassy has a release clause that clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal could trigger. He would only consider leaving if they miss European football and a top club makes a serious offer. No thought of what that release clause could be or how much it is. So best guess to you guys in the chat. Guirassy, how much is he worth? And would you like to see him at Liverpool ahead of maybe the likes of Ekitike, Sesko or any of the other targets that we've been linked with? So the big story of the day for me came from Team Talk, and they're quoting Empire of the Cop. And they're speaking about Morgan Rogers. We did bring this up earlier on, but I want to read this segment out to you again. They say, speaking about Rogers and Liverpool, he's seen as a talent who's ready to prove himself on an even bigger stage, with Liverpool Chiefs understood to have been captivated by his pace, his dribbling and ability to create chances for his teammates. Rogers' positional versatility has allowed him to operate in a wide variety of roles for Unai Emery this term. He's featured on both wings, though it's the position behind the striker in which he's most effective. As such, Rogers would be viewed by Liverpool as heavyweight competition for Dominic Szoboszlai in the attacking midfield or number 10 role. So let me know your thoughts on that one. £70 million has been a price that has been mentioned in that piece as one that Aston Villa would demand for a player that they bought for £8 million, rising to £15 million, I believe, from Middlesbrough when they brought him in. I know it seems a little bit far-fetched, but if Liverpool do move on, the likes of a Harvey Elliott, I can see where they look to Morgan Rogers, even if it is at a hefty price tag. So let's move on to I have to say unnamed journalist, because I don't want to say his name because, you know, he doesn't like when I mention his name, even if it's to speak about a piece. So let's just say unnamed journalist, speaking with Anfield Index. I've been speaking a little bit about Federico Chiesa and why he's not getting opportunities. And this is what they had to say. And again, shout out to our friends at Anfield Index. When Chiesa signed for Liverpool, expectations were high. Euro 2020 winner with Italy and one of the continent's most technically gifted forwards. However, according to unnamed journalist, his integration has fallen flat. Unnamed journalist went on to say, it's simple. The manager sees him every week in training and can have a direct comparison to Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota not really liking what he sees. So if it's that simple, just for a second, why don't journalists ask Arne Slot that at press conferences or after games or on any occasion? Because, you know, it's good that we're hearing some situation around why Chiesa is not getting a chance. But I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure Liverpool fans would, more coming from the manager of the club rather than one of the club's extension of the PR team. So goes on to say, this is not a minor detail. Slot, who appears to be ushering in a new tactical era at Anfield, has already made strong decisions that suggest a prioritisation of intensity, cohesion, and form over reputation. But again, not pushing back on what the journalist writes here, but no player can show form if they're not given minutes on the pitch. And yes, very fair point made about what the manager sees on the training ground. No argument about that whatsoever. But if a player is going to get minutes, then you're going to see form. So I think Arne Slot, as the journalist said here, this is more of a statement rather than a shock of an omission. And I do agree with that. And I said all the way through, for me, this feels like somebody signed Chiesa and Arne Slot wasn't having it and has shown that he doesn't want him at the club. So let's wait and see what happens there. And on Ibrahim Konate, speaking with Anfield Index as well, Ibrahim Konate is the latest player to enter contract talks, but Liverpool journalist, whose name I'm not allowed to mention, claims the club are struggling to make progress on the new deal for the Frenchman. We're not getting great encouragement at the moment in terms of the contract negotiation, unnamed journalist told Anfield Index. And look, this is something that I've been hearing back from others as well. And Fabrizio Romano reported a few months ago that Liverpool were close to a breakthrough, but things do seem to have gone very, very quiet around Konate. And I wonder, are we going to see him sold this summer? Now, this is something that I'm sure fans don't want, and that's understandable. But it's also understandable that the club can't allow this to go into next season. Now, you may very well ask the question, how has it gotten to this point? And again, that's a very fair question. But I agree with the stance that if he can't find a breakthrough in these communications or negotiations, then Liverpool are going to have to cash in. And that could leave us in a bit of a scurry for our centre-backs, because we know we need one already. Huijsen is probably at the top of most of our lists. If we were to lose another centre-back, then do we look to a Jarell Haddo? Do we look to a Mark Gay maybe from Crystal Palace? Let me know your thoughts on that one in the comment section. Now, tomorrow, ladies and gents, we won't be live for a late night agenda. We're going to let everybody sit back and enjoy the Aston Villa Man City game or whatever else you guys want to do on a Tuesday evening. But we do have the Premier League predictions video coming out early in the morning, so keep an eye out for that one dropping, with there being Tuesday and Wednesday games as well as the weekend. I wanted to make sure I got that video out early, so that'll be out about 7 or 8 a.m. and then there'll be a news video tomorrow as well. Thank you once again for your continued support. Looking forward to reading your comments, and we'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.